Hi friends, this is Becca Feakin with Amazing Paper Grace, and today I have a project to share with you. I am starting a new series on my blog today and for the next 3 days called One Box, Three Occasions. And so what I'm going to do is show you how you can take one box and step it through three different occasions so that you can add it to your repertoire. Now to do this, we use one central die, and that central die is Spellbinder's Gate Element. It's such a lovely die, and as you'll see, it's an integral part of the box, and it's also part of the embellishments and the cards and the accessories that we're going to be making. Now, in addition to this die, we're going to use an older Spellbinder's die called Labels 27. Now, the first time I saw this die, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. It's very unique. And when you see how it plays into the design of the box and the other things that we're going to make this week, you're going to love it. So it is an older die, and I should tell you that if you care to add it to your collection, you want to do that right away because these dies do retire over time. So now that we know the dies that we're going to use, we're going to get started. Now, I have my scoreboard and I have a 12-inch by 12-inch piece of paper. We're going to start out by scoring at 4 7/8 inches, and we're going to do that 4 times after turning the paper. So we'll start out at 4 7/8 inch, and then we're going to turn the paper 90 degrees. We'll score again at 4 7/8, and then we'll turn the paper again, scoring at 4 7/8 inch, and then we're going to do it one more time at 4 7/8 inch. Doesn't get easier than that. So we're going to add a couple more score marks. The first one being at 4 1/4 inch, but we don't want it to extend past the horizontal score mark. So we'll make that one. And then we'll go over to 7 3/4 inch, and we're going to draw another score mark, but we don't want it to cross the horizontal score mark that I'm pointing to. And so now we're going to turn the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to make matching score lines at 4 1/4 inch, but don't let it cross over the first intersecting score line, and then at 7 3/4. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut off each of the four corners of the paper following along the score lines as you are seeing me do. Now that we've cut all four corners off, we're going to do some additional snipping right where I'm pointing along the score line. After we cut along that score line, we're going to cut out a triangle. And that's just going to help with some of the bulk of the paper, and it'll make it go together a little bit easier. And now that we have made our cuts, we can go ahead and fold our box along all the score lines. And now that we have all the score lines flexed, we can actually go ahead and put our adhesive in place. We're going to put adhesive on each of these upturned tabs. To save a little bit of time, I'm going to fast forward through this part just so that you can see exactly how the box goes together. Now that the bottom part of our box is together, we can concentrate on the top. We're going to be using labels 27. And if you can see where the lines occur, we're going to score from one side to another as if that line existed all the way across. That's going to create 4 different flaps, and those flaps are going to be critical in the making of the box top, and you'll see. After each of the 4 sides are scored, you can flex the score lines, and the top of the box is taking shape. So I've gone ahead and I have cut a strip of paper that is 11 inches long by 3/8 inches wide, and I've gone ahead and I've put adhesive on the back side. We're going to use this to make our top sturdy. After I peel the liner from the adhesive, starting in the middle of the top, I'm just going to lay the adhesive against one of the flaps. Once I have it glued, I'm going to bend the strip back and then allow the adhesive to adhere to the next flap. And we're going to do that all the way around, ending in the middle again. Now that I've created the basic part of my top, I can start using the gate element. Now, with this gate element, I actually decided that I'm going to snip off these little legs. It's just going to make for a cleaner look, so just need to take my scissors and snip it all the way across like they never existed. Once I do that, we're actually going to lay the gate element down and we're going to score down the center. Now on my scoreboard, you can see where I have a line that I use as a point of reference. So I'm just lining up there, and as best I can, I'm going to score down. Now it's going to be a little bit bumpy, but the idea is to get the score, as far along the center line as you can. It's just going to aid in the folding. And so once we do that, we can actually bend it in half quite easily. And so there are 4 pieces that are needed for the top. Once you've scored this one, there are 3 more. Now, my favorite method of gluing filigree elements, such as the ones we're working with, is to use glossy accents. It dries clear, it sets up relatively quick, and you don't need a whole lot of it. So the way this is going to work is we're going to take glossy accents and put it on the gold piece in the upper left and the upper right corners, and then we're going to attach it to the white lid. Now, we'll have to give it a little bit of time to set up, but it's not going to take long at all. So I'm going to just take and squeeze out a fine line, and definitely on the edge and then on some of the inner spokes, and that should just about do it. And so now I can actually attach it to the lid and just hold it there for just a second to let it set up, and I'll move on to the next. We need to do this on all four pieces and attach them. Okay, so that was easy enough. It's setting up now, and it's actually going to take a few minutes for this to dry. So I'm just going to hold it tight for just a second. We have another part of our box to get working on, so I'm going to set this aside to let it dry totally while we work on our next part. While we're waiting for the other part to dry, we're going to make our cards. And so what I have here is a 12-inch by 12-inch piece of paper. Now, I've gone ahead and scored it down the center at 6 inches. And actually, I know it has to be 5 1/4 inch, so I've gone ahead and I've cut it. And so with the fold line along the top, I can pull out my trimmer. I can go ahead and cut all four cards, one right after the other. So I've gone ahead and I've put a piece of tape just so that I know, and they'll be very close to being the same. Makes it very easy to line up, and then I can just go ahead and cut four of these, one right after the other. And so all four of my mini cards are cut now. So now I have four more of the gate elements. I've gone ahead and put some adhesive on the back of the gate elements. And so I'm going to pull that adhesive off. And here again, I'm thinking I need to get rid of those little tiny legs. So I'll just cut straight across, just as we did for the top. And now it's very easy to line up the fold of the top of the card with the straight across and simply adhere the gate element to the top of the card. It makes for a very simple and elegant card. And the neat thing is it really matches the decor of the box. I finished off by adhering all of the elements and then putting a pearl on the center of each card, putting all four cards in the box and embellishing the box with a bow. I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you would like to see more videos such as this, please give me a thumbs up. Much more to come in the future. I appreciate you coming by, and I'll see you soon.